Alright, super quick update on UMA. So I'm going to keep this fairly quick and mainly talk about the micro term. Just quickly though, the macro term, obviously we are in a pretty hefty downtrend. I don't think there's not really a linear line that you can use to define this downtrend, as this only has 2 touch points. But you obviously can keep in mind that, we could spike up to potentially like 14 or 15 in the short term and still be, in a very steep macro downtrend still. So moving on to the short term, what I outlined in my previous videos is that personally I do think if we haven't topped already, we have, we're at least very close to topping, because whenever the RSI spikes up above here, it never lasts for more than a couple of weeks. In this occasion, it might have lasted 2 weeks or so. Yeah, it lasted 2 weeks. And, this was really the only time where it managed to retest it and go off to the races. But every time we've poked our head above this, at least, and come back down, it has always been a local top in the short term. So what I've been outlining is, from a very technical perspective, if we do hold the 618, this is your last line in the sand. So if we do hold this 618, we can talk about a move up to, like where we outlined previously, like a 15, potentially even a 1649 level. If we do zoom out, you can see 1649 would be a retest of the 618 if I draw my fib from the all-time high, or this micro high rather, to this low down here. You can see that would run us into the 618. So yeah, I mean basically everything that you should take away in the short term. We are, it does look very flaky right now. In my opinion, we have topped on the RSI, but like I said, there have been times where we've topped and then, gone for one last rally. So, if we were going to have a rally, we would need to hold the 618 is what I'm saying. If we have a strong bounce by today or tomorrow and we start heading up, I would talk about my target being up here between, 1425 to 1660, and that would obviously encompass the 15 line that we saw in the downtrending level as well. But like I said, this all comes down to whether we're able to hold the 618, which is 771. If we lose 771, there's nowhere else to go but start making new lows. This would bring us down to 420, and this would basically be us getting chopped in half. Previously, it's not like this coin to make a low and then come back and then hold it as support. We normally always do make lower lows at that point, at least in the macro term from what I can see. So yeah, I mean, this really has to be your last line in the sand. If we have a strong push up in the next day or so, then we can start talking about moves to the upside between, like I said, $14 to $16, at which point I would be calling that, in my opinion, a local top before we do start heading down again. The money flow indicator is very overextended. So far we've double topped. But like I said, your best case scenario is really we come up for one more push before we do break down. That would be something like this. I think it would be very short-lived, and this all depends on whether we're able to get euphoria coming in today or tomorrow. And obviously, if Bitcoin specifically starts pumping and breaking out of 46,000, I think UMA will see that bullish push up to the upside. But in my opinion, I would be keeping an eye on this 618. I wouldn't make a decision at all until we do break below the 618. If we do break below the 618, like I said, I think we've got almost a 50% drop on our hands. And if we do have a solid bounce from the 618, I would be calling for one last massive parabola to the upside. We are around about $8 now, so almost a 2x I'd be saying we'd probably be having in the very, very short term, at which point the RSI would probably be, at the top levels here that we hit on 93. And whenever we do come up to 93, we're there for 2-3 days max before we fall off the table. So that's all I'm looking out for UMA. Very quick video, but yeah, basically as long as we hold 771, we're good. If we break below 771, then poof, we're pretty much screwed. So that's all I've got for UMA. If you are in UMA, best of luck to you. Once again, none of this is financial advice. This is just my opinion on the market, and you've always got to do what's best for you. Peace.